Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Nitai Gaur Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Astottara Sata Shri Srimad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Astottara Sata Shri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Brajabhumi Shri Vrindavan Dhama Ki Jai. Mayapur Navadvip Dhama Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Kalachanji Dham Ki Jai. Gangamai Ki Jai. Jamunamai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Tulasi Marani Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Nitai Go Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Can I have the tambourine, please? I think it's right there. Melala. I don't think so. Thank you. That was already there, yeah. Yeah, it's not staying. It's not staying like this. Oh, this? Ah. There we go. That's why you're temple president. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Giridhari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Giridhari. Yashodanandana Bhaja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Bhaja Janaranjana. Yamunatira Vannachari. Yamunatira Vannachari. Thank you. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Giridhari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Giridhari. Yashodanandana Bhaja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Bhaja Janaranjana. Yamunatira Vannachari. Yamunatira Vannachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Kala Chanji, Radha Kala Chanji, Shri Radhe. Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Everyone together. Narayanam namaskritya nam chaiva narotanam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jayamudiyayat. Nasapaye Shabadeshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual masters opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him, and if I can say anything useful, it's because of them. And Krishna. Jai. So Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. Thank you for coming. I'm still a little bit under the weather, so if I sound a little bit out of it, that's why, but I just thought, you know what, I'm not this body, and we'll just let Super Soul speak and see what comes out of it. Also, tomorrow I'm going to be gone for like a month, so I wanted to say a little something before I go. So you guys are all amazing, and so many of you could speak so much better than I can. But I'm giving this service, so we're meant to be a servant. We're always praying, please engage me in your service. So when the service comes, then we say, okay, I'll do it. So today we are studying Chapter 8 of Srimad Bhagavatam of Canto 6, Chapter 8, the Narayan Kavacha Shield. So just Dumna Prabhu gave a really good background yesterday on what's going on. But basically the demons took over the heavenly planets. They took over the heavens because why? What happened? Yeah, and Lord Indra was offensive to his guru. He didn't pay him proper respect. And so he lost his guru, and without a guru, we can't do anything. We're worthless, basically. So the demons took over, and so Lord Indra went to Lord Brahma, I believe, and then he asked for help. And Lord Brahma said, go to Vishwarup, who's a great sage, spiritual teacher. And then Vishwarup is going to give him his solution. The Narayana Kavacha Shield is his solution to the problem here on how to take over the heavens again. So we'll read from verse 1 to 19, and we'll focus on 19. You can begin reciting, please. Maybe after your nap. So. Thank you, Prabhu.
King Parikshit inquired from Shukadev Goswami, "My lord, kindly explain the Vishnu mantra armor that protected King Indra and enabled him to conquer his enemies along with their carriers and enjoy the opulence of the three worlds. Please explain to me the Narayana armor by which King Indra achieved success in battle, conquering the enemies who were endeavoring to kill him." Read 2. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, King Indra, the king of the leader of the demigods, inquired about the armor known as Narayana Kavach from Vishwarupa, who is engaged by the demigods as their priest. Please hear Vishwarupa's reply with great attention.
Text 4 through 6. Vishwarupa said, if some form of fear arrives, one should first wash his hands and legs clean, and then perform akshman by chanting this mantra. Om apavitra pavitro va sarvavashtam gatopiva yasmaret pundarikaksham sabya bhyantara suchi Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu. Then one should touch kushagrass and sit gravely and silently facing north. When completely purified, one should touch the mantra composed of 8 syllables to the 8 parts of his body, and touch the mantra composed of 12 syllables to his hands. Thus, in the following manner, he should bind himself with the Narayan coat of armor. First, while chanting the mantra composed of 8 syllables, Om Namo Narayana, beginning with the pranava, the syllable Om, one should touch his hands to 8 parts of his body, starting with the 2 feet and progressing systematically to the knees, thighs, abdomen, heart, chest, mouth, and head. Then one should chant the mantra in reverse, beginning from the last syllable Ya, while touching the parts of his body in reverse order. These 2 processes are known as Utpatti Nyasa and Samhara Nyasa, respectively.
It's interesting because I was just reading the memoir from Govinda Dasi just the other night. It's really good, actually. Sandalwood and what is it? Roses. Yeah, and she was talking about how when she did her marriage ceremony and also the initiation that Prabhupada was chanting these mantras, so these are important mantras to keep in mind.
Then one should chant the mantra composed of 12 syllables, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Preceding each syllable by the Omkara, one should place the syllables of the mantra on the tips of his fingers, beginning with the index finger of the right hand and concluding with the index finger of the left. The 4 remaining syllables should be placed on the joints of the thumbs.
One must then chant the mantra of 6 syllables, Om Vishnave Namo. One should place the syllable Om on his heart, the syllable V on the top of his head, the syllable Sa between his eyebrows, the syllable Na on his tuft of hair, Shikha, and the syllable Ve between his eyes. The chanter of the mantra should then place the syllable Na on all the joints of his body and meditate on the syllable Ma as being a weapon. He should thus become a perfect personification of the mantra. Thereafter, after Visarga to the final syllable Ma, he should chant the mantra Ma, Astraya Fat, in all directions, beginning from the east. In this way, all directions will be bound by the protective armor of the mantra.
After finishing this chanting, one should think himself while it quantitatively one with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is full in six opulences and is worthy to be meditated upon. Then one should chant the following protective prayer to Lord Narayan, the Narayan Kavacha.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Supreme Lord who sits on the back of bird Garuda, touching him with his lotus feet, holds 8 weapons: the conch, disc, shield, sword, club, arrows, bow, and ropes. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead protect me at all times with his 8 arms. He is all-powerful because he fully possesses the 8 mystic powers, Anima, Lagima, etc.
So now we're moving on to some prayers that are to be recited to the Lord. But first you saw so many different, kind of ritualistic things. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of science. This reminds me of like, a chemistry class. You have your lab and you're like, okay, you put this and that, and then you do this like that, and then you get this result. So it just shows this is very like scientific process,
May the Lord who assumes the body of a great fish protect me in the water from fierce animals that are associates of the demigod Varuna. By expanding his illusory energy, the Lord assumes the form of the dwarf Vamana. May Vamana protect me on the land. Since the gigantic form of the Lord, Vishwarupa, conquers the 3 worlds, may he protect me in the sky.
May Lord Nrsingadev, who appeared as the enemy of Hiranyakasipu, protect me in all directions. And cause the pregnant wives of the Asura miscarriages. May that Lord be kind enough to protect me in difficult places like the forest and battlefront.
Thank you.
The Supreme Indestructible Lord is ascertained through the performance of ritualistic sacrifices and is therefore known as Yagneshwara. In his incarnation as Lord Boar, he raised the planet Earth from the water at the bottom of the universe and kept it on his pointed tusks. May that Lord protect me from the rogues on the street. May Parashurama protect me on the tops of the mountains, and may the elder brother of Bharata, Lord Ramachandra, along with his brother Lakshmana, protect me in foreign countries.
May Lord Narayan protect me from unnecessarily following false religious systems and falling from my duties due to madness. May the Lord of his appearance as Nara protect me from unnecessary pride. May Lord Dattatreya, the master of all mystic powers, protect me from falling while performing bhakti yoga. And may Lord Kapilya, the master of all good qualities, protect me from the material bondage of fruitive activities.
May Sanat Kumara protect me from lusty desires. As I begin some auspicious activity, may Lord Hayagriva protect me from being an offender by neglecting to offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord. May Devarshi Narada protect me from committing offenses in worshipping the deity. And may Lord Kurma, the tortoise, protect me from falling to the unlimited hellish planets.
May the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his incarnation as Dhanvantari relieve me from undesirable edible and protect me from physical illnesses. May Lord Rishabhadeva, who conquered his inner and outer senses, protect me from fear produced by the duality of heat and cold. May Yagna protect me from defamation and harm from the populace, and may Lord Balrama as Sesha protect me from envious serpents.
Who is Dhanvantari? Yeah, so that was very detailed. Thank you. No, it's good. Yeah, you said incarnation of Krishna who came at the end of the churning of the milk ocean, and in that sense, this is the personality who brought us Ayurveda. So the science of the energies of the body and whatnot. So it shows it's in the Bhagavatam. So it's good that we take some time to learn the basics of Ayurveda. In order to maintain our body, our mental health in a good state so that we can best serve Krishna. I know it helped me. Text 19. Huh?
May the personality
Medicine.
of Godhead.
Yeah. Sorry.
May the personality of Godhead in his incarnation as Vyasadeva protect me from all kinds of ignorance resulting from the absence of Vedic knowledge. May Lord Buddha Dev protect me from activities opposed to Vedic principles and from laziness that causes one to magnify the Vedic principles of knowledge and ritualistic action. May Kalki Devi, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appeared as an incarnation to protect religious principles, protect me from the dirt of the age of Kali.
So this is actually our focus verse today, but it's not bad that we read it twice. Dvaipayano Bhagavan Apabodha Buddhastu Pasandagana Pamada Kalki Kale Kalamalat Papatu Dharma Vanayahu Kitavatara. Please recite. Dvaipayana Bhagavana Pabodha Buddhastu Panchadagana Pamadat Kalki Kale Kalamalat Papatu Dharma Vanayo Kitavatara Dvaipayano Bhagavana Pabodha Buddhastu Panchandagana Pamadat Kalki Kale Kalamalat Papatu Dharma Vanayo Kitavatara Dvaipayano Bhagavana Pabodha Buddhastu Panchandagana Pamadat Kalki Kale Kalamalat Papatu Dharma Vanayo Kitavatara. Ladies. Dvaipayano Bhagavana Pabodha Buddhastu Panchandagana Pamadat Kalki Kale Kalamalat Papatu Dharma Vanayo Kitavatara. So do we recognize any words here? Which ones? Which is? Why is he called Dvaipayana Vyas? Because he's twice born? Why? You have microphone right there. Thank you.
Dapayana Vyas, he appeared as the incarnation, the literary incarnation of Krishna, but his spiritual master, Narada Muni, he gave him second birth. So he's second born. He's Dapayana.
Thank you. Anything else we see on here?
Buddhas.
Buddhas, yes. Who? What is it? No?
Buddhas is intelligence.
So Buddha, well, actually is referring to Lord Buddha here.
Buddha, and Kalki is Kalki avatar.
Yeah. And Kali. So it's this, we're going to talk about, so that's kind of the theme today is Kali Yuga. The dangers of Kali Yuga, the intricacies of it. So we'll say the synonyms together. Dvaipayana, Srila Vyasadeva, the giver of all Vedic knowledge. Bhagavan, the most powerful incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Aprabodhat, from ignorance of the Shastra. Buddhatu, also Lord Buddha. Pashandagana, of atheists creating disillusionment for innocent persons. Pramadat, from the madness. Kalki, Lord Kalki, the incarnation of Keshava. Kale, of this Kali Yuga. Kalamalat, from the darkness of the age. Prapatu, may he protect. Dharma Avayana, for the protection of religious principles. Uru, very great. Krita Avatara, who took an incarnation. So it's pretty amazing because yesterday we were in Krishna book reading and Mother Kaylee, she asked about Buddha and we don't talk about Lord Buddha that often. And I was like, literally tomorrow morning we're going to talk about it in class. So it's one of those like Krishna miracles. Everything, eventually you just start to feel like it's all like a show. It's all like everything's being arranged for us and we're kind of like actors and eventually we're being guided like cows. Like Krishna is a cowherd boy, you know, you were kind of like cows. He's kind of guiding us back home. That's how it feels. May the personality of Godhead in his incarnation as Vyasadeva protect me from all kinds of ignorance resulting from the absence of Vedic knowledge. May Lord Buddha Dev protect me from activities opposed to Vedic principles and from laziness that causes one to madly forget the Vedic principles of knowledge and ritualistic action. May Kalki Dev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appeared as an incarnation to protect religious principles, protect me from the dirt of the age of Kali. Purport. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. This verse mentions various incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who appear for various purposes. Srila Vyasadeva Mahamuni compiled the Vedic literature for the benefit of all human society. If one wants to be protected from the reactions of ignorance, even in this age of Kali, one may consult the books left by Srila Vyasadeva, namely the 4 Vedas, Sama, Yajur, Rig, and Atharva, the 108 Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, Brahma Sutra, Mahabharata, Srimad Bhagavatam, the Mahapurana, Vyasadeva's commentary on the Brahma Sutra, and the other 17 Puranas. Only by the mercy of Srila Vyasadeva do we have so many volumes of transcendental knowledge to save us from the clutches of ignorance. As described by Srila Jayadev Goswami in his Dashavatar Stotra, Lord Buddha apparently decried the Vedic knowledge. I'm going to skip that. Nindasi yaga vidya hashuti jatam sadaya hidaya dashita pashukatam keshavadita buddhadasha. Well, we are already doing the other one. Thank you, everyone. The mission of Lord Buddha was to save people from the abominable activity of animal killing and to save the poor animals from being unnecessarily killed. When Pashandis were cheating by killing animals on the plea of sacrificing them in Vedic yagyas, the Lord said, if the Vedic injunctions allow animal killing, I do not accept the Vedic principles. Thus, he actually saved people who acted according to Vedic principles. One should therefore surrender to Lord Buddha so that he can help one avoid misusing the injunctions of the Vedas. Interesting. The Kalki avatar is the fierce incarnation who vanquishes the class of the atheists born in this age of Kali. Now, in the beginning of Kali Yuga, many irreligious principles are in effect. And as Kali Yuga advances, many pseudo-religious principles will certainly be introduced, and people will forget the real religious principles enunciated by Lord Krishna before the beginning of Kali Yuga, namely principles of surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord. Unfortunately, because of Kali Yuga, foolish people do not surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna. Even most people who claim to belong to the Vedic system of religion are actually opposed to the Vedic principles. Every day they manufacture a new type of dharma on the plea that whatever one manufactures is also a path of liberation. Atheistic men generally say, yata mata tata pata. According to this view, there are hundreds and thousands of different opinions in human society, and each opinion is a valid religious principle. This philosophy of rascals has killed the religious principles mentioned in the Vedas, and such philosophies will become increasingly influential as Kali Yuga progresses. In the last stage of Kali Yuga, Kalki Dev, the fierce incarnation of Keshava, will descend to kill all the atheists and will save only the devotees of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So this is very interesting because only a few times in the Bhagavatam do we see reference to Lord Buddha. Only maybe a couple times, maybe 2 times. And the previous one in Canto 1 gives a different approach, a different opinion. This one here. Yeah. So then, in the beginning of Kali Yuga, the Lord will appear as Lord Buddha, the son of Anjana, in the province of Gaya, just for the purpose of deluding those who are envious of the faithful theists. So one is like positive and the other one is like negative, right? One is like, okay, the first one was let's go back now. The first one was that Buddha Dev, he came to protect activities opposed to Vedic principles and from laziness that causes one to madly forget the Vedic principles of knowledge and ritualistic action. So the reason why he's saying this is because the people were not following the Vedas properly. They were using the Vedas as an excuse to cause harm to animals and eat their flesh and whatnot. So Buddha came to save us from that. It's kind of like when you have, when you have a child who's just like, he has, you give him like a pencil and you're like, okay, you draw a nice drawing for me or something. But you just see him, he's just drawing on the walls and he's just doing all kinds of nonsense. And you keep trying to correct him, but he just keeps doing the same thing. And eventually you're like, forget it, just give me the pen back, So it's kind of like that with Lord Buddha and the Vedas. It's like people were so degraded and we're just like not following. So it's just like, just forget about it altogether and just like follow my basic instructions and at least you can live like in the mode of goodness and follow ahimsa and like that. And then kind of like start over. And then gradually, then eventually there was, Shankaracharya who came, who is Lord Shiva, and he was sent to bring people back to the Vedas, but still with like a kind of a covered Buddhism flair to it, where it's like, okay, we're all one, and there's not actually one supreme personality, but still people are coming back to the Vedas and gradually, and then, we have Ramanujacharya, and we have Madhvacharya, and Lord Chaitanya, and bringing people back to the highest knowledge of the Vedas, which is Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead. So it's all like a nice arrangement. It's all like a play. Krishna is like the supreme like play director, and the whole world is a stage. So yeah, we're very fortunate to have Srila Vyasadeva. There was this verse in the Gita I wanted to share that was really nice. 16:23. Yashascha vidim utrishya vartate kama karata nasasidim avapnoti nasukam naparam gatim. He who disregards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. So with that logic, if we follow Lord Buddha and we just disregard the Vedic scriptures, then we're not going to have good time. So what is, I'll keep it open, like what should be our approach? what should be our opinion of Lord Buddha? Do we because we heard Prabhupada say we should surrender to Lord Buddha. This other one says, so what is it, Yes, Kaylee. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Yes.
I'm curious, did Lord Buddha really, because it sounded like in the verse that you talked about, we're reading currently, is that he said, if the Vedas, if they allow meat killing, then I reject them. He didn't reject them. He said, if this is in the Vedas, then I reject them, which means that he's not technically rejecting the Vedas. He's rejecting this idea that people are understanding it in this way. So
Yeah.
I feel he's not really rejecting. I mean, maybe that's why I'm coming with a question. Is it somewhere else that he flat out rejected? Because this doesn't sound like he rejected.
I mean, he wasn't following himself. He wasn't teaching others to follow. But yeah, you're right. It's Krishna, it's the avatar. So, yeah. Any other thoughts on this?
Well, the thing about Buddhism is that it ultimately it only leads to nirvana, which means to merge with the oneness. So it's impersonal. The ultimate conclusion is impersonal. However, Buddha, we have to keep in mind he's an incarnation of Krishna. So we respect the Buddhist people. We respect them. However, the conclusion is it's impersonal. So that's my only other thing. I know someone very close who was a Buddhist, who was very close to me growing up, and his conclusion was to take his life at the end of his life. He was only 63, and he took his life. So and he was a Buddhist. So that was his conclusion. And so I don't think it's, there's good and bad. That's the point. There's good because it's ahimsa. Just like in ISKCON now, we're very strong about ahimsa milk. Devotees are really trying to honor ahimsa milk and offer ahimsa milk to the Lord. So for that, we can respect that, the ahimsa.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, thank you so much. You have something? Andavraj Prabhu?
I thought about Lord Buddha is more on how merciful Krishna is. He's so amazingly merciful that he gives all people an opportunity to come to him. Because we come with so much baggage, so much experience, and so many things, ridiculous things, quite often, in our life. And so we're looking for a certain something. And Krishna says, okay, well, I'm going to help people come to me through different religious principles, right? And so he comes as Lord Buddha for those that are, as it says here, that aren't following scriptural injunction. But what I've seen in recent times is most people who come to him are impersonalists. They don't have the knowledge to understand that Krishna is a person, so they come as they want to come to him as an impersonalist. But by following the directions of Lord Buddha, you're getting tricked. You're following Krishna, So, and it says in the Bhagavad Gita that the impersonalist goes to the Brahmajyoti and then falls down again. So my thought is that there must be some advancement being made by following Lord Buddha's instructions with sincerity, and then the opportunity comes for someone to understand that Krishna is actually his supreme personality of Krishna.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah. I mean, that's what happened for me. Literally. Like, that's what happened for me. Like, my first, quote unquote wave of awakening was Buddhist, like from reading Buddhist literatures and following the principles. Because at the time I was quite like atheist or agnostic. So that's all I could really handle is more like, okay, spirituality, but for my benefit, like how can I be like peaceful, or how can I understand the world. And so it was from reading Zen Buddhist books like Alan Watts and Eckhart Tolle that I started to feel like, okay, we're all interconnected, and there's like a higher dimension of life. And yeah, I started to realize like, okay, we're all one. That's what I was thinking for a long time. We're all one, which is the impersonal understanding. And obviously Prabhupada strikes hard against that, because that would be like, I'm God, right? But what happened over time is, as I developed that more, and then I got to Krishna consciousness, I realized that it's not so much that one is right and the other one is wrong. It's not the full picture, right? We are one in quality with Krishna. We're not one in quantity with him. So it's just like, I've just been adding layers to my understanding over time. And it started with Buddhism. And so many, like especially Westerners that come to Krishna consciousness, so many of them will be like, yeah, I started off Buddhism, and like, it's usually like that, because it's very like, it's scientific, and people are able to understand it, even people who don't believe in God or anything, because in Buddhism, it's not necessarily there's no God or there's God. It's like, well, we can't know, or like, don't worry about it, or it's not like necessary. So then that's very attractive for people to be like, okay, so I don't have to believe in something that I can't experience necessarily. So they're like, okay, sounds good. So let me start to practice this meditation. Let me stop eating meat. Let me meditate. Let me go to bed early. Let me eat healthy. Like, you start to develop a mode of goodness. And the mode of goodness is said to be like an airport, where you can fly to the mode of pure goodness, or fly back to Krishna. So if you don't make it to the airport, then you can't fly back home. So it's all like a wonderful arrangement. Like, I just love like just zooming out and just seeing how Krishna arranges everything. He's like a master like fisherman, he's like a master fisherman, and he's got like all the different kinds of baits for the different kinds of fish, and we're all like different fish, and he's thinking like, and it's beautiful. Did you have something? Yeah.
Hare Krishna. This topic kind of reminds me of Rishabh Dev's teachings, talking about the two different kinds of transcendentalists. So those who are impersonal, there's two different kinds of impersonalists, like Mayavadis, which reject Krishna, but then there's Brahmavadis, which are those who are mostly innocent, mostly like the Buddhist type people. Most people just don't know that there is something. But he's still bringing, like, these teachings are still bringing, like Buddhist teaching is still bringing to the transcendental platform, like attempting. So it's still on that road, but like Nanda Braja was saying, is you'll still have to come down, but at least you're situated like better than not being, at least you'll be more prepared in the next life to then take to bhakti. So it's just not complete. But then another thing I was thinking on Mother Kunti's point and people talking about the Buddhists is that like the Buddhist people who are it's like saying Jesus Christ is, Prabhupada said he is our guru, but are Christians our guru? We shouldn't be looking at just Christians for the example of Christ. So same with Buddhists, like just because like the Buddhist people are practicing a certain way, they might not be practicing Lord Buddha's teachings properly. Like we should just focus on Lord Buddha and not the Buddhist people, like what Lord Buddha actually said. I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, that's nice. I mean, that was kind of the point of all of the verses went through all the prayers, is that they were praying at different characteristics of the different avatars. What can we learn from them? What can we, for Lord Buddha, it's like, okay, we have to learn to be careful to properly follow the Vedic injunctions. So yeah, we should focus on the source, like you said, who is the source, not necessarily the practicers. It's interesting too, because my journey, like I stayed at like a impersonal yoga Advaita ashram like for like 8 months, like that was like my life. And I won't name any names or anything, but the main guru that they follow, the teachings you would hear is Brahman is the supreme and we're all one and like that. But at the same time, everywhere they had one big temple, and it was a Krishna temple, and we had a nice big Krishna deity that was being worshipped every day. And later I met one of the priests actually, and it turns out he's a Vaishnava. Like he was worshipping Krishna like he's the supreme personality, but he's like, but I'm priest, so I serve where I'm paid. You know what I mean? Like I do what I have to do, like that. But then even the guru that was the ashram guru, whenever you'd have a picture of him, you'd also have a picture of Krishna. Like wherever, Krishna was everywhere. So I was always just like, why is, like, if we're all one and all of the different devas are just different like manifestations of Brahman, like why is so much emphasis on Krishna everywhere? So, and then I talked to a lot of devotees also that have this kind of background, or even just yesterday or a couple days ago, I got a call from a lady who applied to Krishna House, and she comes from yogi background, and she was staying in an ashram for like 10 years in India from a like impersonal guru. But she's just like, I really think that some of them know like the supreme truth, but they're just kind of like giving us what they think we can handle, like, or trying to bring us to a higher level. Whereas Srila Prabhupada was like, this is the complete absolute truth. This is like, he said, I'm the elevator. He's like, I'm the elevator. Whereas other gurus might be more like the staircases, different staircases like that. And in a way, we can say it's all Krishna's arrangement that we have gurus that bring us to different levels. And so whenever... And that's what the lady was telling me on the phone. She asked me sincerely, she's like, if you were like completely fresh, like you had no interaction with any spiritual text, whether like the Buddhist text or the impersonalist text, anything like that, and you just got like Prabhupada's book fresh, it's like, would you have really been like, yes? Would you have totally surrendered to it? I mean, I can't say, maybe I would have. But it's very high, like it's very high, especially if you're like an atheist or something like that. So I think all the different kind of paths that, they have kind of like their place. They're like elevating us to the point when we're ready, all right, Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, let me surrender, let me go back home. Anyways, I don't know if that's like speculation, but that's just kind of been my experience. And I've heard from many others as well. So that's why we should always like respect everyone. We see that Srila Prabhupada was heavy a lot of the times with impersonalism, and Mayavadis especially, who say Krishna is Maya, because that's like the worst offense. But in our personal life, it's good that we remain humble and just focus on ourselves. Okay, how am I improving? How can I come closer to Krishna? How can I purify myself? And not so much like putting down Buddhism it's all helping. It's all help. Anything that helps us not be a demon, not be like a demon, and like elevate our consciousness to be like good people, take care of each other. I think we should appreciate it. So, anyways, do we have any like final thoughts? Yes. He's always there to close off the class. And beautiful. Thank you.
There you go. I was meditating on the pranam mantra of Srila Prabhupada. The second line goes, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi. These are the two broad categories that we see the people around in this world. Nirvishesha is without any attributes. So there are people who broadly believe that there is Brahman without any attributes. Everything is oneness. So those are Mayavadis, and Brahmavadis are also included in that. The difference between Mayavadis and Brahmavadis is that Mayavadis, they feel they believe that the form of the Lord is Maya, illusion. Whereas Brahmavadis, like four Kumaras, they were Brahmavadis. They knew that the Supreme Lord, Brahman, is a person, and his form is not Maya. But then the second category that we are talking about is Shunyavadi, voidism. This is atheism, covered atheism. Why? Because their basic philosophy given by Buddha is the living entity comes from matter. The world comes into existence by the combination of the dead matter, atoms. So that's why Srila Prabhupada wrote the book, Life Comes from Life, and not from the matter. So voidism is atheism, but Mayavad is not atheism. It is a step above. So the whole evolutionary process, if you look at, when Vedas were misinterpreted and there was rampant killing going on, so there was an emergency. It was just like the train is off track. Now it has to be put back on the track. So it cannot be immediately, all at once cannot be done. So it has to be done in steps. So the first step was, okay, at least follow this principle that this is the theory, here is the theory. There is life coming from matter. So root cause of suffering is this material existence. That is the essence, summum bonum of Buddhism. So you just stop enjoying this material world. So at least follow that principle. So one step closer to the track. The next step comes Mayavad. At least there is something called Brahman, formless, impersonal. And then there is next, there is Dvaitavad, living entity is different from the Supreme Lord. And then Vishishta Dvaitavad, which was given by Ramanujacharya. One step even closer. Dvaitavad came later than that by Madhvacharya. And finally, the off-track train was totally put back on the track by Lord Chaitanya by combining all of these philosophies into one, which is Achintya Bheda Veda, oneness and difference.
Jai. Haribo. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai.
Jai. I'll do the words. Safe journey. It's going to be ecstatic and enlivening, full of nectar.
कर सीतापति दया कर सीतापति अद्वैत कृपा बोले परी तब कृपा बोले दया करो सीतापति अद्वैत गोसाई तब पावले पाई चैतन्य गई दयाकार सीतापति अद्वैत गोसाई तब पावले पाई चैतन्य में गई रघुना जीव श्री जीव प्रभु रघुना दया करो श्रीआचार्य श्रीनिवा राम चंद्र संग मागे दया करो आचार्य प्रभु श्रीनिवा राम चंद्र संग मागे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया कर मने तुम्ही बिना के दयाल जगत